There's a car for sale right now, maybe 10 miles from you, that spent 3 days underwater in North Carolina. The title's clean, the Carfax is clean, and some poor sod's about to hand over 15 grand for it. Meanwhile, people are scrapping perfectly good cars because a repair quote scared them, not realising that just buying something else now costs more than it ever has. I've seen both disasters roll through my shop this year. The panic sellers who didn't need to sell. The flood cars that looked mint until the electrics turned into a money pit. I'm going to show you exactly how to avoid both. I keep hearing the same thing at the counter. Frank, I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm not putting money into an old car. And I get why people feel that way. A big repair bill stings. But here's the bit that catches people out in 2026. Replacing the car often turns into a quiet pay cut. The average used car payment right now is about $537 a month. That's over $6,400 a year, and that's before you've even talked insurance, fuel, tyres, any of it. And the interest isn't friendly. Used APR is commonly 11 to 15%, higher if your credit's rough. On a $27,500 loan over 68 months, you can burn 8.5 to 9 grand just in interest, for nothing, just the privilege of borrowing. Then you get the double hit. The bank usually wants full coverage. For a lot of people, that's another 80 to 150 a month. So here's the tip I give mates. If your car's paid off, a 3 to 4 grand repair isn't throwing money away. That's 5 to 7 months of payments on a replacement, and it can buy you a couple more years without signing your life to a loan. And the market's not helping. Used prices are back up. Mannheim's at a 2.5-year high, and average listings are around 25.5 grand. That old advice of just buy something else ignores the world we're actually in. Repairs have basically become the cheaper financing plan. I see people panic over the same two words all the time: transmission and head gasket. And yeah, they can be expensive, but expensive doesn't automatically mean scrap the car. On a lot of normal mainstream cars, a transmission rebuild might land somewhere around $1,500 to $3,500. If you're talking a full replacement or a reman unit, it can jump up, so I always look at the whole car first. Is it straight? Is it maintained? Is it rusty underneath? If the rest of it is solid, that repair can genuinely buy you years. Same with a head gasket. 2 to 6 grand isn't unusual, and most of that is labour. But if the car's clean, not overheating all the time, and the underside isn't falling apart, it's not an automatic death sentence. Quick tier 2 stuff. Timing chains can be $1,600 to $2,700. That's usually a pay now or pay later job. Catalytic converters, $1,300 to $3,500 plus. Prices are mad, and the cheap delete tricks come back to bite you. What actually kills cars isn't 150k miles, it's structural rust, rotten mounts, brake or fuel lines, flood electrical corrosion, or big failures stacking one after another. My dad's old work truck hit 340,000 miles. We retired it because the frame gave up, not the engine. I see this all the time. Someone hears one scary quote and their brain goes straight to, this car's done, I need another one. So here's my 2026 repair or replace rule. It's simple and it keeps you out of panic decisions. Step 1. Compare yearly pain, not the one-time gut punch. Look at what you spent in the last 12 months on repairs, then compare it to 12 months of payments, higher insurance, taxes, fees, all of it. That's the real comparison. Step 2. One big repair doesn't mean the car's dying. A single 3 grand hit can still be cheaper than signing up for years of monthly bills. Step 3. The body and frame decide everything. Engines and gearboxes can be fixed. Rot, structural rust, and a bent-up shell, that's where I stop throwing money. Step 4. Stacking repairs is the warning sign. If it's major job after major job, back to back, that's when you make an exit plan. And that old, never spend more than 50% of the car's value rule, it needs updating. If a $3,000 repair keeps a $6,000 car going for 3 more years, that can beat years of monthly payments we just talked about. If that little framework saves you from one bad decision, that's thousands in your pocket, not the bank's. Subscribe so you catch the next one and hit like. It genuinely helps other people find this before they sign something daft. Right, now let me tell you what's been showing up everywhere lately. Flood cars. Lately I've been seeing something weird in the shop and in the classifieds. Cars turning up in places that haven't seen a proper hurricane in years, but they've got that been underwater look once you know what to sniff for. After the 2024 storms, the numbers were huge. Roughly 347,000 flood-damaged vehicles between Helene, Milton and the smaller ones. And a lot of them didn't stay near the coast. They got shipped inland and quietly sold on. Here's why I don't love flood cars, even compared to a normal crash repair. A wreck is usually metal and plastic. Flood water gets into every connector, every module, every little plug you can't even see. And it doesn't always fail on day one. It shows up months later as random no starts, warning lights, dead screens, windows doing their own thing. And that's where your money disappears. Intermittent electrical faults can chew up hours, because it's not one broken part, it's corrosion playing hide and seek. One practical tip: don't assume a clean title means clean history. Title washing is real. A car gets branded in one state, moved through places like Louisiana, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, gets retitled, and suddenly it looks clean on paper. And a reality check. Carfax and VIN reports help, but they're not a force field. Gaps happen. You still have to treat the car like it needs to prove itself in person. Here's the thing with flood cars. A lot of them will start, idle, drive straight, even feel nice on a test drive. The problems turn up later, when water's been sitting in connectors and wiring, slowly making a mess you can't see. First check is boring, but it works. Smell and moisture. If it's got that musty, damp smell, or the seller's gone mad with air freshener, take a second. Feel the footwells, lift the mats, check the boot corners and the spare wheel well. And if an older car has brand new carpet, that's not proof, that's a question. My favourite quick test is the seatbelt. Pull it all the way out. If you see a faint waterline, staining or gritty dirt that doesn't match the rest of the interior, that's a red flag. Had a bloke bring in a perfect deal Camry last month. Drove lovely, looked clean. Pulled the belt fully out and there it was, a brown tide line about 2 feet up. Then look for rust where it shouldn't be. Under seat rails, seat springs, unpainted screws under the dash, door hinge bolts. Flood cars often corrode in weird places. Also check for condensation trapped in headlights or tail lights, and if you can safely peek at the fuse box or wiring under the dash, look for green or white crust on metal and gently bend a wire. If the insulation feels brittle, that's not great. 2 more quick ones: milky looking oil on the dipstick and an air filter that's swollen or wavy like it's been wet. And I'm genuinely curious, have you ever caught something dodgy using the seatbelt trick or a fuse box check? Or have you been burned by a car that seemed fine at first? Drop it in the comments. Those stories help other people more than you'd think. I see people do this all the time. They spend 3 weeks comparing listings, watching reviews, arguing about trim levels, and then they buy the car without anyone who actually fixes cars looking at it. Here's the boring truth. A pre-purchase inspection, call it $150 to $250, is usually cheaper than one wrong guess on an electrical problem. And if the car's been in water, that guessing game can go on for ages. So before any money changes hands, you ask for 2 things. 1. Maintenance records that look consistent. Not, oh yeah, I just did an oil change yesterday, and nothing else. 2. Permission to do a proper sniff and peek. Mats up, check the boot, spare wheel well, and yes, pull the seatbelts all the way out. If they won't let you, you've just learned something important. Also, run the VIN on carfax.com/flood. It's free, it helps, but it's not magic. Stuff slips through. And if you do find issues, don't get awkward about it. Turn it into pounds and pence, well, dollars, or you walk. Dealer or private seller makes no difference to me. An inspection is still mandatory. Here's the exact call I get all the time. Someone's got a paid off car, it needs a $3,200 repair, and they're stressed. Then they tell me, but I found this $9,000 deal online. And when you actually run it through real life, loan payment, full coverage insurance, taxes, fees, suddenly that deal is more like $600 a month, sometimes more. And this is the bit I try to say calmly. You're not choosing between spending money and not spending money. You're choosing which bill you want. We already ran those numbers earlier. Monthly payments, full coverage, interest. It adds up fast. A paid off car that needs the odd repair is almost always the cheaper path. My sister called me the other night with this exact panic. Her Accord needs a new timing chain and she was already browsing dealership websites at midnight. If you truly have to buy, fine. Just assume the paperwork is incomplete until the car proves itself in person, especially if it's got any storm region history. Prices and rates will change, but flood cars and bad finance decisions stay expensive for years. Pick the option that keeps your month-to-month life livable. That's it. Whether you're staring at a repair bill or scrolling listings at midnight, the maths is the same. Slow down, check the numbers, and don't let panic make the decision for you. If this kept you from one bad deal, hit subscribe so you catch the next one. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video.